The Cyclops of Greek mythology are actually a lot more complex and fascinating than what we give them credit for. Now, recently I made a video on the first three Cyclops of Greek myths, the ones born to Uranus and Gaia. They were born to the king of the primordial gods, cast down to the underworld, kept there by the Titans, and freed by Zeus, who needed some backup during the war. These three were Arges, Brontes, and Steropes. They were also master craftsmen, and they created Zeus's Thunderbolt amongst other weapons. Eventually, in some myths, they were killed off either by Apollo, who wanted revenge for the death of a lover, or killed off by Zeus, who wanted to make sure that they never make any weapons for anyone else. Kind of weird. However, there are two more factions of Cyclops, two more types of Cyclops in Greek mythology. The three types of Cyclops that are covered are the Hesiodic, Homeric, and the Wallbuilders. The Hesiodic Cyclops are the ones we just covered, the primordial Cyclops, the great smiths of the gods, right? The Homeric ones are farmers, and you absolutely have heard of the most famous of the Homeric Cyclops. Yep, it's Polyphemus, the guy who dealt with nobody. Polyphemus and the other farming Cyclops were children of Poseidon. And as we know, Polyphemus was the one from the Odyssey, the one who dealt with Odysseus himself, and he ended up hurling giant-ass rocks at the hero and his crew. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the third group of Cyclops, the ones that I barely know anything about, the Wallbuilders. Honestly, the more I dug into the Wallbuilders, the more fascinated I became. As you may have guessed, the Wallbuilder Cyclops built walls, giant Cyclopean walls, and there are ruins today of cities that credit their walls being built by these ancient Cyclops. These are the walls of the city of Tyrins, or Tyrins, sorry for the mispronunciation. Tyrins is not only the city that was thought to be the dwelling place or the residence of Heracles during his labors, but the city itself reached like the height of its power during the 1400s BC, like from 1400 to 1200 BC. It means that the classical Greeks had no idea how these walls came up. The only way they could explain it was from Cyclopean giants who built these walls. It might just be me making this connection, but I was reminded as I kept looking into Tyrins or Tyrins and how they explained away these walls as some Cyclopean giants who built it in the ancient days. Like the classical Greeks thought the walls themselves were built by giants, which is fascinating. It reminded me of the opening paragraphs of The Name of the Rose, where Umberto Eco, or the narrator in those first few paragraphs, Atso of Milk, describes the monastery that they were traveling to as built by giants of the ancient past. Which also reminded me of the theories regarding the giant builders, or these giants of the past who built things like these massive structures in Peru. Even though they're explained away as being constructed by humans, it's always fascinating how, when these, it's just amazing. It's just amazing. Now, the story of where Cyclops came from is actually pretty fascinating also. Like, why did they suddenly believe in these one-eyed creatures? Now, I'm going to show a skull on this next slide, so just trigger warning just in case, I don't know. But this is the skull of an elephant. And if these were found by ancient Greeks with no remaining body, it's easy to see where the myth of Cyclops came from. People more intelligent than me will be able to explain exactly where everything fits here, but it is easy to see where the ancients would have been able to say, oh yeah, a Cyclops came by. That's the skull of a Cyclops that was killed. So it kind of makes sense that Cyclops were like the leading giant race to blame things on or to talk about when it came to these giant massive structures. So yeah, tell me your favorite giant story or your favorite Cyclops story in the comments. Bye bye.